guys, it is Robin over here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Hello, Robin.
I hope you can hear me okay. I am on my earbuds. But I wanted to call this in because this happened just 2 nights ago. I was sleeping, and I'm pretty sure I was astral projecting. This kind of happened involuntarily. But I was in this place that had a lot of stars, so it definitely wasn't Phoenix. And the road in this neighborhood bent and led to the main road with a huge field on the other side. And there was like an electric vehicle in the driveway. I had walked over to the side of the house and there was a gate, and I started fiddling with the lock. However, I then got pulled back into my body, and I felt something rub its hand across my midsection. So
No,
I thought it
thank
was
you.
my husband.
That's your shit right
And
there.
I just slightly opened my eyes to look at him, and he's facing me, and I can see his arms kind of tucked in front of him, but he's definitely not there. So then I think it's my child. And I'm trying to get myself to wake up, but it's not uncommon for me to have a hard time fully waking up. So this is a matter of seconds, mind you, but I'm pushing myself to wake fully up because I think my child is in my bedroom. And I hear, "Mommy," like that, like drawn out and kind of shaky at the end.
No.
So I knew that it was not my child. And that made me fully like sit up in bed, and I'm looking around and nothing's there. And if anything, I just got mad because I feel with my lifetime of banishing entities from my presence, they should know by now they're not allowed to touch me. I ended up sharing this story in an astral projection subreddit, and somebody had mentioned that I was probably just experiencing sleep paralysis, and that was the old hag. I don't know how accurate that is because I have experienced sleep paralysis my whole life, and this definitely didn't feel like sleep paralysis. But who knows? I've definitely never felt anything touch me in sleep paralysis, but maybe there's a first time for everything. All right. Hope you guys like the story. Bye.
Thanks, Robin. People in Reddit just be saying anything at all.
I feel
For some kind of like, well, it was just the old, that was not the old hag. No way.
Even skeptical me wouldn't have just said that. I feel like
You would have been like, it wasn't real.
no.
You wouldn't have been like, that was the old hag. You would have been like, that didn't exist.
You know, obviously, I believe in astral projection.
That is true. That is one thing that he does believe in. That is true.
I think it was maybe just a leftover. Somehow, as the consciousness was coming back, she was feeling something from somewhere else.
Mm.
Maybe not what she was experiencing in the out-of-body experience, but when you got to imagine when you get pulled back that quickly, you're going to be going through some other things, some other people's experiences, and maybe you bump into each other every once in a while. Maybe one's perv. But to me, in this case, even though it was kind of a place you'd only touch usually intimately unless you were a doctor or something like that.
You don't know the relationship between me and my doctor.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I let him touch all over. I'm like, get in there, dude.
Yeah. But,
Figure this out.
I just feel like I don't feel like it was a dirty thing or something she needed to banish. I think it was just left over from wherever her consciousness was.
And that's possible.
What?
I don't.
You finally get me to believe in something and you just won't jump on board with me?
No, actually, this is an interesting question regarding astral projection. How many ghost stories do you think are just a case of astral projection?
Since I don't believe in ghosts the same way a lot of people do, I would say most of them.
Because there are tales of people that, and we've covered so many where people will be like, oh my God. And I even have one myself in Vegas with the little peeper ghost that was trying to watch me sleep.
And maybe they were just trying to figure out what the hell they were seeing.
I know, but the reaction was it's locked in my mind. The reaction from this thing when I locked eyes with it, it was genuinely surprised. And of course, all I see is like bright ass human white eyes and the rest of it's black. But
which is still weird considering
it's creepy.
if it was astral projection, I think we've talked about this before too. You shouldn't have a body, you shouldn't have eyes.
Yeah.
But somehow our consciousness, if that is indeed what we're seeing, can see this.
I think
see
it's
that
deeper
image.
than that. Like, that's the weird thing. Like, the eyeballs for sure is creepy, but like the fact that there's an actual form there.
I don't think
know.
there's a form there. I think that's what we put there based on our consciousness, knowing that that is another, probably human in this case.
Maybe.
And
I don't know.
Maybe that's why I don't know why we always see a woman in white when it comes to like hauntings and stuff like that. That girl's always astral projecting, and she's been doing it for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
I just think it is funny that there's so many ghost stories out there. Like, how much of it is people on the other side of the world asleep or something like that and just astral projecting the out of their body
Without even knowing it most of the time.
And thinking they're dreaming. Oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I'm having too many like weird thoughts where I'm like, oh, it could be this and it could be this, you know?
Yeah.
Like everyone that's like, oh, your dreams are just, you're technically awake somewhere else. Creepy, dude. No, don't be that.
I feel like I've experienced that on and off all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly when I was young, though.
Have you ever returned to like the same location of a dream? Because you know how like the landscape's always different. Like I'll be in my house and my house suddenly has 20 rooms and it's got slides for stairs and whatnot. And you're like, yeah, this is perfectly normal. My house, of course.
There's one house I go to a lot, and it's a house in Palmdale, California, that I lived at when I went to high school. But it does change. Sometimes it's the house, but everything around it looks different.
You got to talk to my mom about those. Every time I have a crazy house dream, I tell my mom, and it's always the, alleged meaning behind it is always pretty crazy and somewhat accurate to what I'm going through. I'm like, interesting.
I don't know if I mean, it's kind of random when I do have that.
The shit's not random. That's G-Easy. Sorry. Every time someone says it's random, it goes through my head. It's like, it's been a while. It's been a while, and you can't turn it off. It's just there forever. Anyway,
man.
You were saying.
I don't remember I was like.
It's not random.
For me, it feels random or it feels unimportant because I don't think about that stuff much. I'm like, oh, cool dream. Yeah. Or cool whatever.
Cool. You don't even like submit to it. You're just like, cool, whatever. Whatever this is, it's cool.
Like I don't have nightmares.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Not since I was a kid, I think. It's been a long time since I've had a nightmare.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
Mostly I'm just fascinated. I do have some pretty action-oriented. I remember one time, well, there's a couple. Maybe the wrong place to mention them.
Is this drug-related?
No.
Oh.
There was one, and this was the weirdest one I've ever had. It left a mark.
Oh.
I was like in this war zone, and I was a child.
Did a building blow up?
Yeah. Like the wall basically collapsed in front of me. And I was sitting there looking out, and I was traumatized.
Yeah, you said it was like lifelike, right? Like it was actually...
It was like the most realistic thing I've ever experienced in waking or...
Well, tell the story. We don't have it on video yet, by all means.
Yeah, I don't even remember how old I was. Probably in my 20s, 30s. And I just end up in this dream. To me, it would look like anywhere in the Middle East, basically. Anywhere that we've
stereotypical much, Christian.
No, anywhere there's been, because
broken buildings and dust is what I see. Is that what you're after?
No, it was the desert, and it was like the buildings. It's kind of not a big city, but a bigger, like a decent sized city.
Yeah,
and there was some fighting going on, and I just felt like we were hiding in the house, and I'm looking out like a window, and it's just this big explosion that didn't even knock me on my ass. I'm just standing there, and then the wall just like basically was obliterated in front of me.
Oh,
and it like was so jarring that it woke me up right away. But I could feel.
Were you sweating? Was it one of those like where you're?
Yeah. It was one of those where like cold sweat.
Oh yeah.
And most of the time I'm like, whatever, man, it's a dream. That was kind of cool. That time it wasn't. That time I felt like I experienced war for just a split second. And it was just I remember it like it happened yesterday still.
The tale from the Great War, like we mentioned earlier. I like that.
Yeah.
Well done. With that, let's take a half second for half day.
What's up, boys? This is Seth. Messaged Scott on and off about some experiences I've had with mimics recently.
Hell yeah.
Thought this would be a cool way to get my latest experience out. Scott, as we know, I just had a newborn a couple weeks ago, and my oldest 7-year-old was on her tablet in her room. I was holding the baby, trying to get her down, get her to sleep. As I talked to you previously, I've had encounters of what I believe to be my 7-year-old calling my name from the basement, from other places, and she's nowhere to be found. This same occurrence happened. She was in her room on her tablet, headphones on. I'm getting the baby asleep in our bedroom, and I hear, Dad, Dad. I'm like, what? You know, a couple rooms away. I'm like, hey, Carly, be quiet. Clearly she has to have her headphones off if she's calling for me. Not the case. I went in there, found her on her bed, head buried in her tablet, headphones still on. I'm holding the baby. I said, Carly, what do you need? What do you need? She looks at me all blank-faced like, what are you talking about? I said, did you not just call for me? I said, you just said Dad twice. Nope. I never called for you. I'm like, what the heck? And it's been a while since the last experience happened, and boom, here we go with another one. Guys, this is just, I can't explain it. It's always her voice calling Dad. I don't know what's going on. I figured I'd share this with you guys again. My wife's not really hearing all this. She doesn't have much to deal with the paranormal.
Oh, my God.
So I just thought I'd share it with my favorite podcast. You know, beans be with you, boys. I hope you have a great Halloween, and we will talk to you again soon.
I love you, Seth. You're my best friend. Yeah, no, I feel the wife not feeling the paranormal thing. You know how upsetting that is to me? How I've built my life around this crazy, weird podcast I have with her dad, and she's like, I don't care about that. You're like, oh, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I raised her right.
Yeah, exactly. Look what you've done. But crazy, dude. I do remember the mimic story. Do you remember him, his other stories?
Kind of. I remember mimic stories, and the good ones were probably his. I feel what he kind of did right there was trigger something, a memory in me, not of a mimic.
Oh, man.
Just
damn it, Seth. What the hell?
I remember when my kids were young.
I remember when I lost my mind.
Stop with the music. Not even good music.
What? Continue. That's fine.
Anyway, so when they were young, I remember that I used to hear them in my mind, in this case, unless it was a mimic,
of course,
calling me all the time. And I wonder,
who?
Just saying Dad.
No, who? Oh, was it
China and Christian?
Gotcha. Yeah.
I wonder if some of that is just what your brain does when you have children, unless you have a mimic following you, which sounds like Seth has.
It does feel that way, yes.
Then it's time to get a priest. Maybe not a priest, but do they have priests for mimics?
Yeah, there's mimic priests. You know, mimics can be priests. Why not? Like, well, I see what the dude with the little white patch thing does. I'll do it too.
I'm so confused now because a mimic priest, which one's the real one?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm a little confused. That's how.
Well, if you want to get down philosophically, they're both technically the real one. Because if one is mimicking one, then the other one is technically mimicking that one in response.
But what is the mimicker? That is the question.
Well, we should actually, Seth, I forgot, you told us an interesting tale there. I've had that recently. It hasn't always been that way. To clarify, the whole hearing like a child's voice or, wife's voice. I didn't always have that. And China and I have been together for like 8 years at this point. We've been married for like 5. I never had it until probably this year is when it started. But it's never anything. Well, there was one time where it was like, it felt crazy, but it also wasn't a physical hearing it. It was like a mental hearing it.
That's
where
what I mean.
it was like, it was like yelling, like, I think it was China do it where it sounded like she was yelling for me. Like actually yelling, not just being like, babe, I can't open this. Actually been like, something's going down. It's only recently happened. What would jumpstart something like that?
Exhaustion.
It's been over 3 years now that I've had a child. Like I can be exhausted and function.
I'm not saying just exhaustion and all of this being not real. But again, exhaustion could take down your filters.
Yeah.
Because that's what society does. It gives us filters. So we filter. Yeah. Like the old tale when I'm like, children lose the magic of the world.
Ah, yes. My favorite, please.
Yeah, that's why I said it. But that's what it kind of is they get to see the world differently. You know that better now than when I first told you that. Because you spend part of your day looking at the world through their eyes. It's a different world. But as they grow up, those things that protect us or are put in place to protect us, and it doesn't matter whether they're actual protections and the people giving us these ways to act in society,
Sure.
whether they're good or bad.
Sure.
Either way, we get these filters and we don't always catch that stuff. And I don't really know where I was going with that, but
catch stuff with your filters, all right? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you just carrying filters around for no reason? Go and catch things with them. Filter.
You know, you see people with tinfoil hats. They just need a coffee filter.
There you have it, guys.
Takes that right away.
Does that clear things up? Yeah, you feel good? No. Man, I just would not function well with a mimic in the house. I'm going to be honest with you.
A mimic would not like me because I would mimic them back.
Yeah, they'd be like, Dad. And you're like, oh, Dad. Is that all you do? Is that all you do, mimic, huh?
Can you hold a real conversation and make it interesting for
Can
one
we talk
of
about
us?
science for once, dude? Yeah. Classic mimic behavior.
Actually, I wouldn't want to. I'd like, what's it like over there? What's it like being a mimic? Can I be one?
And then it'd be like, what's it like being a mimic? You'd be like, damn it, mimic.
Yeah.
You got me.
And I'd be like, you want to join my cult?
You'd probably scare away the rest of the members. If your first member is a mimic, they're like, you're like, do you want to join my cult? And then the mimic's like, you want to join my cult? And everyone's like, you know what? That seems like it might be obnoxious to be around. I'm good.
Now you know how I keep all the spirits and demons away. I just annoy the shit out of them.
Hey, I think we're all familiar with that now. We have another anonymous submission that we're going to get to now. And
buckle up.
Folks, this is a fun time to remind you that if you have a creepy experience of your own, perhaps you're dealing with a poltergeist and you need the advice of a couple of seasoned professionals, dial 801-997-0051 and leave your message for the Frightline, and we'll help you out. That's what we do. That's what we're all about here, okay?
Did you practice that sexy voice for that number?
No, it came naturally.
Took me back to the 1-900 numbers or whatever back in when I was like a...
You like that, you perverts? Hell yeah.
$300 phone bill I got in trouble for.
You like that image? Don't think about it too long. It gets weird.
Please don't. I was young.
Quick question, hopefully not a weird one. So lately I've noticed my reflection is about a half second behind me. Like, I'll raise my hand and in the mirror it catches up just after. From this to this. From this to this. Right here. You know, like just right afterward. I thought it was sleep deprivation or something, but then I started testing it. Fast motions, eye blinks, finger snaps, and it's always slightly delayed. And then, get this, 2 nights ago, I was brushing my teeth, and my reflection winked. I didn't. Last night, it held up a dry erase board that said, let's renegotiate. And now I don't know if I'm dealing with like a mirror ghost or an alternate version of me or some kind of cosmic performance review. Like, do I give it a raise? What is the currency for a reflection, or should I smash the mirror and risk pissing it off whatever version of me is stuck in there? I'm really torn here, guys, because if it's me, I think I'm #worth it, but if it's not me, I really don't have the expendable income for something like that. Anyway, thanks, guys. Really appreciate this. Keep your chin up, guys. Really love the show. Been a big fan of ghosts and stuff for most of my life, and well, let's just call it what it is. I'm pretty lonely. Bye.
Psychosis is an amazing thing.
Yeah, that felt personal. Yeah.
I may not be a doctor, but
You're
there are
right.
some pills for this.
Yeah. Maybe seek help. You know, guys, I want to reiterate that yes, we do like the safety.
See what? Kelp?
Seek help. Seek help. Why not? You know?
I've heard about kelp being used for things, but not delusions.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good time to remind folks that we're all down for keeping you anonymous and whatnot, but some of these are starting to feel a little mental, you know.
From here to here.
From here to here.
Totally mental.
From right here to
I think what he meant was here to here.
Yeah, it's from here to here. Yeah. It's good stuff. Thanks for that, Anonymous. As far as the advice goes, I'm not entirely sure outside of seek help. You know, that feels like the move.
Was that like a secret message to him? You said it like a secret message.
Hey, Anonymous, I suggest that you seek help. I think you got it.